Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. A little while ago, I showed you how to build a fully automated CI/CD pipeline on AWS to deploy a React app. Every time you push to GitHub, your website updates automatically. If you missed that, the link is down below. And while you are there, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more AWS and DevOps tutorials. But today, we are taking it one step further. What if your pipeline could think for itself? Imagine your system not only deploying code, but also reviewing it, identifying bugs, and optimizing performance, all before it goes live. And what if AI could watch your application 24/7 and alert you about issues before your users even notice? That's the future of DevOps, and it's already here. Before we dive in, let's hear how Jeff Bezos describes the role of AI at Amazon.
What is it that you're doing at Amazon?
AI.
AI.
Yeah, so I mean, there are a few things, but small thing, but it's 95% AI.
And where do you think...
It's just so, because we are literally working on 1,000 applications internally. So AI, you have to remember, AI, modern AI, is a horizontal enabling layer. It can be used to improve everything. It will be in everything. I guarantee you there is not a single application that you can think of that is not going to be made better by AI.
I love how Bezos said it. AI isn't just another tool or feature, it's an horizontal layer that makes everything better. And that's exactly what we are doing here today. We are taking a traditional CI/CD pipeline and enhancing it with AI. Here, we'll use Amazon Inspector for automated security scanning, Amazon Q for AI coding assistant that lives in your editor, and DevOps Guru to monitor our application live 24/7. We are about to build a fully AI-enhanced CI/CD pipeline on AWS step by step. All right, let's dive in. Let me walk you through the architecture behind this AI CI/CD pipeline we're building on AWS. So this entire process is designed to show you how modern DevOps teams can combine automation with AI to ship code faster, safer, and with more confidence. All right. So let's break it down from the very beginning. So we start here with the developer. So here the developer writes code with Amazon Q. Okay. So inside your code editor, so here the developer is using Amazon Q, which is Amazon's AI assistant for coding. Now, think of it as your teammate sitting next to you. So here, your teammate is going to suggest code. It's going to help fix bugs, explain complex functions, and even improve your code quality before you commit anything. So here, AI will help us catch issues as early as possible. Now, next, once the developer is happy with the code, thanks to Amazon Q, they'll push it to GitHub. Now here, the commit will trigger our CI/CD pipeline inside AWS. Then, as soon as that push happens, here the pipeline will start. And here the first stage will be a security scan powered by Amazon Inspector. Now here, Amazon Inspector will use automated intelligence to check things like vulnerabilities in your dependencies, insecure libraries, things like exposed secrets in your code, and general security misconfigurations. Now here, if the scan passes, we're going to configure it to require manual approval, to check the scan, and then the pipeline will move forward. Now, this is where the pipeline becomes AI enhanced, because you are not just automating the code delivery, you're automating the security as well. Next, the code pipeline will trigger AWS code build, which takes your React app and builds it. Now, this stage typically installs dependencies, runs tests, generates production build files, and prepares the app for deployment. If everything builds successfully, we'll go straight into development. Next, once the build is ready, code pipeline will deploy the output directly into an S3 bucket, which is hosting the front end of the application. So here S3 is perfect for our React app. It's fast, scalable, and easy to integrate with, Amazon CloudFront or Route 53 if you want global distribution or a custom domain. Then finally, after deployment, the application is now live, and this is where Amazon DevOps Guru comes in. Now here, Amazon DevOps Guru will continuously monitor your application and uses machine learning to do things like, detect anomalies, identify performance issues, find misconfigurations, and recommend fixes before users even notice issues. Here, it's like having a 24/7 AI operations engineer watching your system, which is cool. All right, I hope that was clear. That's the full pipeline. Okay, let's build this together. Now here, the first step, we're going to enable Amazon Inspector. Let's go to Amazon Inspector, search for it in the search bar. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Amazon Inspector is an AWS security service that automatically checks your cloud resources for security problems. Now, think of it as a security inspector for your AWS environment. So if you deploy things like EC2 instances, container images or ECR, things like Lambda functions and application source code. Now here, Amazon Inspector will scan those resources and look for things like software vulnerabilities, for example, insecure packages like outdated libraries, things like missing security updates, common security weaknesses that hackers could find. Now here, when Inspector finds a problem, it will tell you what is wrong, then explains how serious the problem is, like from low to medium, high or critical. Then it will give you a clear recommendation on how to fix it, okay? Which is good. So the best part here, it works automatically in the background. So here you don't need to manually run scans or configure complex rules. So as soon as you push new code or build a container or launch an EC2 instance, so Inspector here will keep checking for issues, all right? Now for our CI/CD pipeline here, Amazon Inspector fits perfectly because it's going to help us increase security. It's going to help us find problems during development, not after deployment. So here you can see we have a 15 days free trial to use Amazon Inspector. So I'll click Get Started. Here we're going to activate Inspector. As you can see here, it says when you activate Inspector, you grant Inspector permissions to discover, classify, and protect sensitive data in AWS on your behalf, and to generate findings about potential security issues. This will activate Inspector for your account only. So I'll click on Activate this account. All right, now Amazon Inspector is activated. So here is the dashboard where we can find a summary of everything. For example, here you can see critical findings for ECR containers, EC2 instances, for Lambda functions, and for code repository. And all the information you're looking for, you're going to see them here. Now, something amazing I want to show you guys is that AWS just introduced a new feature called Amazon Inspector Code Security. As you can see here, it's a brand new feature. Now, what Amazon Inspector Code Security actually does, this is going to scan your source code and your dependencies, and it's going to work with GitHub repositories. So it's going to detect things like vulnerable dependencies in your code, things like hard-coded secrets or insecure code patterns, all right? So this is the best choice for our React plus GitHub plus CI/CD pipeline. The next step here, we're going to connect Inspector to our GitHub repository using Inspector Code Security. So here you can see that on the connect button here, we have two options here. We can connect over to GitLab self-manage or GitHub. So in our case here, we're going to connect to GitHub. And if you scroll down here, you can see we don't have any repository set up. And here there is no integration as of now. All right. So what we need to do now is to go to the top right corner and click on Connect to. I will select GitHub, then it will take us to this Create Configuration page. We're going to leave all this as default, then scroll down and click on Create the Scan Configuration to continue. All right, the code scan configuration was created. Here, before we connect to GitHub, we need to enter an integration name. So here I'll enter a name, let's say my AI CI/CD pipeline. Then I'll click on Connect to GitHub. All right, so this is the part where we need to use an authorization link to create a connection between Inspector and GitHub. So I'll click on this authorized link, and this will bring us over to this page. Now here we're going to allow and permit Amazon Inspector to access our GitHub account. So I'll click Authorize Amazon Inspector. All right, once that is done, here we need to go to this button here, go to GitHub connection page to finish the process. So I'll click on this button here. Now here we need to install a new app. So click on Install New App. It will take us to this page here where we'll need to install and authorize Amazon Inspector. Now here you can select all repositories or you can select a specific one. Now for the sake of this video, we're going to select a specific one. We're going to select our existing React app. Remember our SaaS landing page, the one we used in the previous video. I'll search for it here and there it is. Then I'll click Install and Authorize. Now, once that is done, let's click here, go to code scan page. Now here, if I scroll down and click on integration tab, here I waited for a few seconds and refreshed the page. And as you can see here, the status is now active. Now this means we are actively synchronizing and monitoring the project. Let's go over to the code repository tab. And here we can see we have our project name. But here, the scan status is still inactive because we have not yet made any changes to the code repository that will trigger the code security scan. So let's go ahead and try that now. Let's open up the code integrated development environment, or IDE. Now this is the code for our SaaS landing page from the previous video. Now if you don't have this, make sure you watch the previous tutorial where I showed you how to set this up. So here we're gonna make a small change to see how this will trigger the code security scan. Here you can make any changes you want. This is just a demonstration of what is going on. Let me see. Let's go to source. And then constants. Here I'll go to index.jsx. Let me change something like a price tag. Okay. So what I can do now is to do a get add. Then I'll do a get commit. In this case, we're changing a price. Then I'll do get push and hit enter. All right, we have now uploaded this to our GitHub repository, and this is going to get picked up in Amazon Inspector. So if I go to Amazon Inspector, I'll do a refresh over here. Just give it a couple of seconds for it to trigger the scan. That's good. As you can see here, the scan status has changed to active. Now, the next step here, we need to integrate this inspector code security scan into our code pipeline. So what we just did is that Amazon Inspector will now automatically scan our repository on every push. So to make our pipeline aware of that scan, we need to add a manual approval stage into our CI/CD. So basically this will force a human, or in this case you as a developer, to confirm if you have received the inspector findings before deploying your app. So this is a very important stage. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's navigate to code pipeline. I'll search for it here. So here we're going to edit our existing code pipeline, the one we created in the previous video. Let's click on it. Here we're going to add a new stage. So in this existing pipeline, we need to add a new stage. So here we need to add this new stage between the source stage and the build stage. Here click on edit. Okay, so here we need to add a new stage. So what we're doing here, we're going to add the inspector code security scan before the build stage. So make sure you put that between the source stage and the build stage. All right. So to do that, click here on add stage. Here I'll give it a name. I'll name it something like security approval. Okay. Inside this new stage, click on add action. All right. Then here we're going to configure the action, give it a name. I'll name it confirm inspector scan. Okay, you can name it something meaningful. All right. For the action provider, let's select manual approval, because here first we need to check the inspector code security scan before we proceed. All right. So make sure you select manual approval. Now for the URL review, this is optional but recommended. So what we need to do here is to paste the direct link to the Amazon Inspector console page. So this one here, this is the Amazon Inspector console. Let's go to the findings page. So this is where we'll see all the scan results. All right. So copy this URL and paste it here. So this makes it easy for us to check the scan results. Then you can also put a comment here. All right, that's good. We're gonna click done. Then here click done. And then here we're going to click Save Pipeline. Now, what we did here is that your pipeline will run the source stage first and then pause, waiting for you to check the inspector dashboard, all right, to see if there is any issues or errors or security vulnerabilities, and then manually approve the deployment, and then the pipeline will proceed. All right. So that's basically what we did here. Okay. I hope that was clear. Okay. The next step here, we're going to install Amazon Q into our integrated development environment, your IDE. Amazon Q is a very powerful tool here. So for those who don't know, Amazon Q, it's a tool that can help us, write, modify, and even maintain code using AI. So here it's combined the power of natural language understanding with the ability to take actions such as, directly making code changes, modifying files, and even running commands on your behalf. All right. So this is a must-have tool in your development environment. So for our CI/CD project here, Amazon Q doesn't fit in the pipeline. It fits in your code editor. So let's go ahead and install that. So in my VS Code here, or you can use any IDE of your choice. So here I'm going to install the AWS Toolkit extension. So I'm going to search for it here. And here you have it. All you need to do is to install this extension into your code editor. So I have mine installed already. Here you can see after you install this extension, you need to sign in with your AWS credentials. Now to sign in, you have two options here. You can sign in using the workspace, or you can sign in using the IAM credentials. So we're going to use the second option. So here we're going to use the AWS CLI, the command line interface, to sign in into our AWS account. So let me show you how to sign in. Click here on AWS profile and then go up here and add a new connection. Once you click there, here we're going to sign in using the IAM credentials. All right. So click on that, then click continue. So what you need to do is to create an IAM user into your AWS account, and then you will have the access key and the secret key for you to sign in using the CLI. So if you don't know how to create an IAM user, please watch my previous videos. So I created an IAM user for this project, and here I'll enter the access key and the secret key. I'll click continue. It's connecting. All right, it's done. Perfect. Here you can see AWS profile AI CI/CD user. And we have all these features with it. Here we are connected to our AWS profile. And here we have all these AWS services set up into our IDE, including Amazon Q. Okay, let me see here. Amazon Q is still not on. Let me see. Let me click on it and click here on re-authenticate to connect. Here we have allow AWS IDE extensions for VS Code to access your data. Yes. Requested approved. Okay. Okay. Now Amazon Q is set up. All right, let's test it. I'll click Amazon Q, and then here I'll click on Open Chat Panel. Here you can see the Amazon Q chat window right here. All right, and I can ask it anything. For example, since I'm using React here, I can ask a question like, explain these React components for me, or I can say, how can I optimize this function, or anything that you want. All right. So we're going to try this Amazon Q very shortly. So let's go ahead and set up the last AI tool into our CI/CD project. So the last step here, we're going to integrate Amazon DevOps Guru for AI monitoring. So here DevOps Guru doesn't fit into the pipeline as a stage. Instead, it's going to run continuously in the background, monitoring your application after it has been deployed. So this DevOps Guru, it's an amazing AWS service, because after you deploy your application using AI, it's going to learn your application's normal operating patterns and alert you when something looks wrong. So let's go ahead and set up that into our project. So navigate to Amazon DevOps Guru, search for it here. All right, here we have Amazon DevOps Guru. I'll click here on Get Started. All right, here you can see it shows how Amazon DevOps Guru works. First, you need to specify the AWS resources in your application that you want Amazon DevOps Guru to analyze. And then it's going to use machine learning to generate operational insights about your application, then notify you about them. And lastly, it will implement recommendations that improve your application performance. So here we have Amazon DevOps Guru Analyze Coverage. So here basically you need to tell DevOps Guru which resources to monitor. But for this video, we're going to choose this one, choose later. This is the simplest option to get started. We will specify the resources manually. Now for notification, you can set up an AWS SNS topic to receive alerts from DevOps Guru. This is highly recommended for production applications. You can create a new topic or select an existing one. And then lastly, I click enable. All right, here Amazon DevOps Guru has been successfully enabled. So here we need to tell DevOps Guru to specifically watch the resources related to our project. For example, here it's going to watch our static website. So let's click on Analyzed Resources and then click here, Edit Analyzed Resources. All right, so here I'll choose the resource to analyze. So here to choose how to analyze resources, we're going to select Analyze All Supported resources in the current AWS region. So here we're going to select all account resources. So in our case here for a simple S3 website, this is the easiest setup because DevOps Guru will automatically pick up metrics from your S3 bucket. So here for more complex applications with many resources, you will use tags or CloudFormation stacks to be more specific. So here I'm going to click Save and then confirm. So now DevOps Guru will start analyzing the operational data from your S3 bucket. Okay, the final step here, we're going to test our AI enhanced CI/CD pipeline with Amazon Inspector. Now at this point, we have finished setting up the entire AI enhanced CI/CD pipeline. Let's test it live and see how Amazon Inspector actually protects our pipeline. Now this is our modern SaaS landing page built with React and Tailwind CSS. Now here the app works perfectly fine. But today I want to show you how security issues can exist even when your app looks healthy. So this is exactly why your security scanning needs to be inside your CI/CD pipeline, not after deployment. So here to test Amazon Inspector, I'm going to intentionally introduce a vulnerable dependency. So here I'll go to the package.json file. Here I'm going to add an old version of a package called Minimist. So I'll enter here Minimist. Then I'll put the version 0.0.8. So this version has a known security vulnerabilities. Now here the app was still built and nothing will break visibly, but it's insecure. So what I'll do, I'll enter npm install to make sure it has been installed. All right, this error is expected because we are trying to break things here. So what I'm going to do here is that since we are just doing this for a demonstration to trigger a security alert, so I'll tell npm to ignore this. So run this command instead. Then here I'll add legacy peer dependencies flag. So this essentially tells npm, I know what I'm doing, just install the package. All right. So in our case here, we are intentionally installing a security vulnerability. Then I'll hit enter. Okay. All right, it has been installed. You can see here the packages have been updated. Then I'll push this to GitHub. I'll enter git add. Then I'll do git commit. Then I'll write something like add vulnerable dependencies for inspector code security demo. Then I'll do git push. Okay. Here the code has been pushed to GitHub. Now here the moment this code hits the repository, our CI/CD pipeline is triggered automatically. Now this is where the AI part comes in. So here Amazon Inspector code security will scan the source code and dependencies before anything gets deployed. So let's check it out. So go to Amazon Inspector findings. And there it is. Here Amazon Inspector has detected a critical vulnerability. All right. As you can see here we have this issue here. So if I check the code security, now here if I go to findings, I'll refresh this page. And here we have these critical findings. All right. And this was made a minute ago. Okay. So here we have this first one is critical and then the second one is medium. Now, if I click on this one, you can see the finding details here. Now, notice something important here. Amazon Inspector doesn't just tell us what's wrong. It also tells us exactly how to fix it. You can see here the remediation option. It tells us to update Minimist to a latest version. Now let's go to the code pipeline. Now, because of this security finding, the pipeline should stop right here. All right, this is a big deal. Now, as you can see here, even though the app builds successfully, insecure code is blocked before it reaches production. So this is the idea behind all this. So as you can see here, the security approval stage is in pending. We need to manually approve this. So I'll click on this. Here we have all the details. We have the commit. We have the comments. Here we have the URL that will take you to the Amazon Inspector dashboard where you'll find all the errors, where you can find all the security findings. And finally, here you can make a decision to approve or reject the pipeline. So here, after we have checked all the security issues, you need to make a decision to approve or to reject the pipeline. So in this case, we're going to reject this and stop the pipeline because we need to first fix that security vulnerability. This will stop the pipeline. All right, I think that's all. And then I'll hit submit. So let's go ahead and fix that. So I'll go to my code. Now to fix this, remember we have another AI tool here, which is Amazon Q. So here I'm going to highlight this package and go to the Amazon Q chat panel. Then I'll say something like, does Minimist 0.0.8 have any known vulnerabilities? All right, here's the answer. It says here, yes, Minimist 0.0.8 has a known prototype pollution vulnerability. So here it's showing the issue here. Here we have the issue. It says here allows attackers to add and modify properties in your code, and it can lead to application crashes or unexpected behavior. So here's the solution to fix it. And it says here you need to update Minimist to 1.2.6 or later version. All right. And here you can copy this command to install that. So I'm not using this Minimist package in my React app. So I'm not going to upgrade this. But if you're using this in your project, make sure you upgrade this package. So I'll do here npm uninstall Minimist and then add this again, legacy peer dependencies, and then hit enter. And it's gone. As you can see here, we don't have that Minimist dependency here. All right, that's good. So I'm going to push again these changes to GitHub. I'll do again git add and then do git commit. I'll say fix Minimist vulnerability detected by inspector and then git push. I'll hit enter. Once again, the pipeline is triggered automatically. This push will trigger the pipeline automatically. Now this time, if you go to Amazon Inspector dashboard, so I'll go first to code security. I'll give it a couple of seconds and refresh this. Let me refresh again. And they are all gone. All right, this is good. Now we don't have any security issues. If I go to all findings and refresh this again, all right, they're all gone. Here we have no findings. So we have fixed this security vulnerability. Then finally, I'll go to the code pipeline. Okay, so here we need to manually approve this pipeline. So here we have checked all these. We have fixed the security vulnerability. Then under decision, I'll choose approve to resume the pipeline. So here it will pass the source stage. Okay, it's going to the build stage. Let's give it a couple of seconds. And finally the deploy stage. All right, it's done. So here all the stages pass successfully and the application is deployed. So if I go to my S3 bucket and check the React app again, here I'll go to index.html and then click on this object URL. And here we have our React application up and running. So here we have the same pipeline, the same application. The only difference is a secure code. So this is why Amazon Inspector is so powerful. So here when you combine Amazon Inspector with our CI/CD, you can turn security into a default behavior. Alright guys, at this point we have reached the end of this project. So we started with a simple React-based SaaS landing page and we turned it into a fully AI-enhanced CI/CD pipeline. So this entire workflow runs automatically. If insecure code is pushed, the pipeline stops. When the issue is fixed, the pipeline continues. So this is exactly how security is handled in real production environments. So if you're learning AWS, DevOps, or cloud security, projects like this are what will truly level you up. Now, before I go, once you're done with this tutorial, make sure you delete all the AWS resources we used in this video to avoid surprising bills. By the way, I've been reading all your comments. I see your requests. I see the project ideas you are sharing, and don't worry, I'm working on it. I'll keep my promise and deliver the follow-up videos you've been asking for. So subscribe and stay tuned. If this video helped you out, give it a like, subscribe for more real-world AWS and DevOps projects, and let me know in the comment section what you would like to see next. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.